Hey, I'm Fred.
And I'm Ant.
And this is Creator Generation.
Create a generation of hype.
All right, Frederico, what is happening this week?
Wonton, this week we are chatting with Damielou Chevelle, who is...
Galileo.
What really drove me was when I was on The Voice. They emailed me and they were like, hey, do you want to audition for our show? And because they saw like my YouTube videos, they thought like I'd be really good. But I sing in my bedroom in front of a camera without anybody listening to me to a big stage. And like one of my huge inspirations, Jessie J, she's like right in front of me.
Over to you. Sing.
Today we are talking to Damielou. That's terrible.
Good. Brilliant. She's a YouTuber, musician.
And is very talented and has a lot of things she loves and is going to talk to us all about them.
Frederico, before we get started, we've been working really hard in the background on our own online course called Change College, the online college just for content creators. Check it out at
changercollege.com. That's CHANGER college.com. Let's get into it.
Damielou, welcome to Creator Generation. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Damie, for however long we've been doing this podcast, I have always cooked the intros. I've stopped doing them. So instead, I just get our guests to introduce themselves. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what do you do?
Of course, yeah. Oh, hello. Hello, friends. My name is Damielou. I'm a singer-songwriter, musician, and video creator. I've been doing YouTube videos for about 10 years. I took a couple of years off to study music performance, and I'm getting back into it. But yeah, just mainly a lot of writing, a lot of singing, and performing.
And what's your YouTube channel name?
Oh, yeah, my YouTube channel name it's just my name. It's Damielou Chevelle. Yeah, but it should be just Damielou, kind of like Madonna, but not as grand, unfortunately.
I don't know. It's,
Nice.
It definitely works.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Ant is always demanding just to be said. I want to be called Ant, just Ant. Like, Ant is
Just
confusing.
Ant.
You know, you need the last name plus. Ant's short for Anthony anyway. You just can't be called Ant.
I have no last name.
Yeah, just Ant.
Yeah, right. Just Ant.
Just Ant.
The Ant.
Not just Ant.
The Ant. Oh,
The
yes.
Ant.
The Ant sounds much better. Yes.
Nice.
We've already gone sidetracked. Yes. Damie,
Yeah.
you've said you started YouTube like 10 years ago, and in YouTube world, that's probably a pretty long time ago.
Yeah.
Actually, in any world, that's a pretty long time ago.
Yeah,
Like,
I was 17.
So what was YouTube like 10 years ago?
Oh, back in my day, it was, I feel like the Australian YouTube community was, there wasn't very many people, so it was easier to kind of sort of, once you found one person, then you'd find the whole chain. But now it's just like, whoa, there's like so many. I think it's really fun. But back in the day, I think, you know, obviously other than like the low quality of videos, there were still people out there who were like kind of killing it and, you know, just expressing themselves. And I don't think anybody really thought about how they could make it like a reliable business back then. At least I didn't.
So why did you get onto YouTube back then?
Oh, I was inspired by this girl I saw. Her name's Christina Grimmie, and she unfortunately passed away. Well, she was murdered actually, but she was one of the reasons why I wanted to start, because I saw her singing, and I was like, oh wow, like I'd love to sing, but I just didn't have that much confidence back then when I was 17 years old. To go singing. So I thought, oh, I'll just do vlogs. And then I started watching like a lot of Jenna Marbles, Shane Dawson, Community Channel. And I don't know if you guys remember My Chonny. I used to watch a lot of him. Yeah. I was super inspired by sketch vloggers. So I started doing sketch vlog kind of comedy. But I look back at those videos now and I'm like, that's just dumb. Like anybody would do.
We will come to that in a second. But like, have you always liked singing, wanted to sing, be a singer?
Yes, it was the main thing that I wanted to do, but I was just too afraid and shy. And like even growing up, like I grew up super Catholic. My mum was very into. She was a catechist for one of the churches in our local area, and growing up with like the hymns and all the music and stuff, I really enjoyed it. And I was also inspired by my sister, who was like, she's still incredible. Like her vocals, she's pretty lit when it comes to music and her singing abilities. But yeah, I always grew up with music, and karaoke was like the favorite thing.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I Want to Dance with Somebody by
nice.
Whitney Houston.
What's yours, Ant? What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh dear, it's been a while, but it probably, scarily enough, was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh right,
you could that's a karaoke song.
I'm
not surprised that was great.
But that's one that's one where you do with a team.
Yeah,
it's always a good team song. Because I definitely can't carry the range of any of
I would say that would be pretty hard.
But you need the team support to get the scaramouche and things happening in the whole fantango. You need that. But I think a bit of Wayne's World influence on that more than Queen influence on that.
Right.
So, yep.
Yeah.
Fred, what about you? What's your? It'd be like the traveling hillbillies or Wilburys or
no,
whatever.
It's not the traveling Wilburys. It's it was You've Lost That Loving Feeling.
Oh wow! Oh okay.
Anyway, I don't know if we've dived into it enough, but Fred is a mad airplane nerd and like super nerdy when it comes to it, and Top Gun is then like the ultimate airplane nerd.
That's true, and that
I
is
thought he
where
was into birds.
That's where it goes. Birds. I'm not.
Aren't you into birds?
No, I'm not really. I'm not really into birds. I don't even know how that came. I like planes, and yes, I like Top Gun, and yes, that's where that karaoke song comes from. So when it came to karaoke, it was all about You've Lost That Loving Feeling.
I love that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so let's get back to you, Damielou. So you obviously, had a passion for music. Family is all about music, and you use YouTube as an outlet to perform.
Yes.
And what was it? What was it like that? I mean, you were 10 years ago. That was still, it was still pretty early on in YouTube's life cycle. What was that like, though? Creating content then? Did you know what you were doing? Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do?
Yeah, because I was just sort of like really shy back then when I was, making these videos still, and a lot of my friend groups were like, oh, you should just like stick to vlogging. And it was like the vlogging and the sketch and making people laugh was like one of the, like a lot of my audience as well as my friends were saying, yeah, just stick to that and that's good. But like there was something in me that was burning and I was like, I want to sing. So, I think at the start it was very like big. Oh yeah, I should probably just stick to this. But then I think in like 2013, I won Next Vlogger, like an award to be like the next YouTube's next vlogger thing. And then I was like, oh, I've won this award. Maybe now I can sort of do what I want in a sense. But like I was doing both, like a bit of a mixture, and people seem to like both of it. And yeah, I don't know. Well, did that answer the question?
It sort of did, but you did win that award, that YouTube Next Vlogger. Can you just tell us what that was? Like, how did that all happen?
So I got to go back to 2012. That's where I met my friend, and he was my manager at the time. His name's Damien. Shout out to Damien. But he helped a lot with like all the behind the scenes stuff, and basically, yeah, like together we sort of just kept making. Oh, I kept making these videos, and then he was doing like the SEO kind of stuff and all the things I don't understand. He was like helping with thumbnails and all that. But that came about when he was like, hey, there's this thing, you should like try for it. And I was like, yeah, okay. So like we wrote this whole thing up, and then I don't know, it was like a whole program, sort of similar to what you guys were doing. The Creator Accelerator program, but it was obviously a little bit different back then. And because I was a bit young, I don't think I like even took too much of it like on board on my own channel. I just sort of like treated it as like, oh, there's this community and like I know some of my friends in here. What's up? And yeah, I'm a bit immature, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, I think I got like a grant. I think it was like $2,000 or something. So I went and bought like equipment, like a camera, another computer. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was very fortunate, very lucky to have that.
So your path now, I mean, obviously it's a mix of music and vlogging and a little bit of comedy and real life, and sort of where did it go from there? So did you start vlogging more?
Yeah, I started because I enjoy vlogs. I started doing more of the vlogging, but then also trying to do the music. So I think back then I was doing like Music Mondays, Funny Fridays, and then on Wednesdays it was like a lol surprise, I'm learning Portuguese or something. It was just so like everything was everywhere, kind of like my brain. And yeah, I was sort of like doing all this thing, but I slowly burnt out. I think it was like 2015. I was just like, oh, I'm tired, you know? I was like, oh, I'm doing all this stuff and it's fun and I should be grateful. And I've always been told, my mom was always been like, don't complain. Like, you know, you've got it good. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm not complaining. But like, that's also like, I just suppressed all these feelings of, I'm just fucking tired, you know? It was a big mix, but then I wanted to keep doing music and that was the drive. And I just started doing music. But
like, when did you first sing then on YouTube? Because you said you were too shy to do that to start off with. So what was that first, like what gave you that confidence to get out there and sing on YouTube and put it up?
The first one that I did on the channel was actually it was a competition. I wanted to win. Somebody painted something from the States. I think I remember her name's Susie TV. And I wanted to win this painting that she made. And she wanted to take clips of people singing Imagine by John Lennon. And I did a little singing clip, even though it was like really scary. But then I saw like a bunch of the comments and my sister was in the comments as well being like, you should sing more. So I was like, okay, yeah. No. Yeah.
So what was the next one that you went, all right, this is a song for, I'm really gonna do this. I'm gonna put myself out there.
I was doing covers back then. I was doing a lot of like funny covers because I felt like if it wasn't funny, like people won't take me seriously. Or like, yeah, I don't know. I had like this weird mentality of like everything must be funny. But like I noticed that there is a bit of comedy within all of my writing as a musician. But like, yeah, the main thing was trying to please the audience that were there for comedy already. I'm a people pleaser.
I mean, if you do look at your videos, the most popular ones are the covers, aren't they?
Yes, the most popular ones are covers. And it's probably because, like, you know, I did covers at the time that they were, like, popping, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what was more popular? Was it obviously, was the covers more popular than the vlogging?
Yeah, view-wise, it was the covers that brought in new audience. But then my main audience that were like always there for, didn't matter what the hell I was doing. I felt like they were there for just vlogging and comedy. But I feel like they're just really nice people that will just follow me for no reason. So good, thank you.
What's that like though? If you're making covers and getting a massive audience in, but there's a much smaller group for the vlogging. Like, are you torn between what content to create?
Yeah, like throughout the whole of my YouTube thing, I guess I was very torn in between two, and I felt like I had to be either one. But now I feel like I can do whatever the fuck I want, and it's a nice feeling, you know, to be like, oh, I actually want to do this, and I want to be the hub that helps emerging artists like come up. So, yeah, I think it's kind of nice.
It's an interesting space because YouTube often specificity does help, and people who typically do covers or videos like that tend to stay there, but they don't typically cross over tons of spaces. From comedy to sketch to vlogs to music covers. It's quite tricky because I guess different audiences like different things, and you sort of fragment that out. So it's interesting growing a channel like that. But like you pointed out, like you've got a core group of people who you really love and they really love you, and as long as that's happening for you, you're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is.
No, I'm very grateful for them. Like, like time is so valuable, right?
Yeah.
So like if you took time out to, either have a chat with me or even watch one of my videos, like, thanks, bro. I think it's
Definitely. Yeah.
The other interesting thing about it is, like, everyone always says, always create around passion, right? Everyone sort of always heard that. And there's always a bit of debate around that. But obviously you have many passions, and a lot of them come out on the channel. And like, just tell us, like, how do you weigh that up in terms of what you're most passionate about? What do you make?
Oh, well, I think I've always felt like I need to niche it down, and that's like, if your target audience and, business wise, yes, it's good to niche down and have one thing, which is, what everybody sort of comes for. And I think I opened another channel called Damielou, and that's where I want to put the vlogging. And then I have my Damielou Chevelle, which is more performing and music related stuff. So I'm still like working out the balance of, because I do have so many passions, but I have this new video series that I'm working on, and it can include all my random like endeavors of passion. So I'm very excited for that. And I feel like I can still relate it to music when it comes to that channel. But yeah, I think having the two is kind of nice. And I know a lot of people have like sort of dropped off of my like videos just because I left for like a very long time, and I don't blame them. I'll be like, this chick don't make videos anymore. What is she doing now? Like, but yeah, I think, there's always room to grow, and I'm always learning things, and I'm not going to quit. You know what I'm saying? I like making videos.
Like you've mentioned a few times you took a break. Like what led to that?
That led to me feeling, honestly, like just not good enough to post anymore. I went through this like whole thing where I was making these music videos, and even though people were enjoying them, I would just pick apart at every single little thing that I thought could be better or should be a certain way, or if I didn't sing a certain note a certain way, I just like hate on myself, and it's very unhealthy. Like, don't do that. I don't recommend it. But I felt like I learned a lot off the internet when it came to my voice, because I was watching a lot of like, other YouTube singers, like vocalists, and do these warm-ups and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I want to be better at performing. So I went and studied, and I now have a bachelor degree in music performance. Yeah, I think actually what really drove me was when I was on The Voice. It aired in 2015, but I think they filmed it in 2014. And that was like a big moment of like, oh, I'm not a very good performer for me. And then I started, after The Voice, everything just wasn't good enough for me.
So just tell us about that a little bit more. Like, what was that voyage like to go into, and how far did you get on it?
Yeah, right. When I was on The Voice, because they emailed me and they were like, hey, do you want to audition for our show? And because they saw like my YouTube videos, they thought like I'd be really good. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. But, that stage of like, I sing in my bedroom in front of a camera without anybody listening to me, to a big stage with other cameras, and like one of my huge inspirations, Jessie J, she's like right in front of me. And I was like, oh, well, shit. Like, I didn't turn a chair, but I was the first person in Australia that she sang with on a stage on The Voice. So It was like a huge moment for me. But I also remember feeling like very embarrassed by not turning a chair. And like, I also felt like I let a lot of people down because I wasn't as confident as what I look like when I thought about my videos back then.
Because you ended up with a pretty boss moment. You sort of, like you said, you didn't turn a chair. But yeah, like Jessie J, who you'd already done a bunch of covers, I think, before that on your channel, and as you mentioned. But she came up and sang that song again with you as a duet and helped you. And like right there and then you can see, like if you go back to, like you've been back to the video, I've been back to the video with you, watching it.
Watching me cringe and like crying.
Yeah.
But like since then I haven't watched it.
Yeah, right. But it's like even just there and then, like that help of performing, which live or performing at all outside of your bedroom was massive. So that set you off on a negative and positive path at the same time. Is that sort of?
Yeah, I would say so. And like I think it was just like my headspace at the time, you know, trying to please everybody else other than like really asking me, hey, what's good? You know? It was a positive thing and I'm very grateful for it, but I'm also like, oh, I wonder what would have happened if I didn't do that. But, you know, I don't regret that. That is something that I was like, yeah, that needed to happen so that I could, I don't know, maybe pull my head in and be like, I need to work harder.
And did you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I did. I started busking. And I had a couple of like older videos, but I think I've put them down. But I started busking on the street. Yeah, I shut them down on my channel. Wow. No, there was just bit of drama going on. And there was somebody I was like hanging out with that I don't agree with them. Right. So I was like, I don't want to
videos.
Yeah, I took them down, shot them in the face. But yeah, I started busking and I, you know, I said yes. I had like a yes year where I just said yes to everything. And even though it was like, it's so terrifying, like the whole thing is terrifying for me. And still can be sometimes is like, yeah, that was like a big, oh yeah, wow, I can do it trying to thing. Yeah. And even going to like saying yes to go to university to study music performance was a big thing for me because I don't like, I think everybody fucking hated school. Like we can all agree on that. That was fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? So like to go to a place where it's like, oh, I'm going to do that again. Like, why would you do that? But like, because I loved music so much, I was just like, hells yeah, I'm going to do this.
So what's like, if you're out there, you're now performing, you've got more, I guess, direction after maybe The Voice. But so what happened after that?
Yeah, well, I started like learning more about my voice and I started writing songs, my own songs. I was trying to make YouTube videos at the same time. And I did like a couple of performances like VidCon Australia. I was there twice. And I started writing with my partner who we're a comedy duo and we actually got to the national finalist of like Raw Comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was on SBS Viceland. And I was like, oh wow, there's so many like different cool communities around in Melbourne and yeah, it's very interesting like what niches. But I just kept performing and you know, when I was in university, like, you know, it was, oh my God, my camera stopped. Sorry.
That's okay.
I need to get another. Yes.
It's all right. Fred's just going to sing You've Lost That Loving Feeling just to fill us in.
Oh, fill that out. Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Only if you sing Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah.
God, no. Don't have my crew here to sing it with me. Like,
just do the part you sing. I don't know what part did you sing in that.
Oh God, I'm always very, very drunk when I sing that. So who knows?
Who isn't drunk when they're singing that?
I've always there's there's people who go to karaoke to like perform. And, like show off how good they are. I hate those people. Like, oh, come on. Like, yeah, you can sing really well. Go like everyone else sucks. Good on you. Like, thanks. And like they're up every 3 songs, like singing properly. It's like go make a YouTube video about it or something. Like, this is not the time to play. No one wants good singing at karaoke. Like, I mean, Damielou, you probably do it pretty well. But
no, I like my mission in karaoke when I'm with friends is to sing like the worst I can. And it's really hard to sing like out of key. Like it's very hard to be like, yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah. And like do weird slides everywhere. You're just like, fuck, what is this bitch doing?
Trust me, it's very easy to sing out of key. I'm very, very good at it. It helps if you have no idea how to sing.
Yeah.
And
everything is practice. I reckon if you really just practiced, I reckon you'd have like a lit voice.
Totally.
Especially you, Fred.
Me?
Yeah, like when you were just like humming before, I was like, ooh, there's some nice bass tone in there.
Yes, bassy.
But I can't sing because I haven't tried properly.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if you did try properly, I reckon you'd be all right.
Something would happen if you tried properly.
My neighbors would probably.
I think your kids would be the first ones to tell you to shut up.
Oh, they'd be my biggest supporters because they don't know what good singing sound like. They'd be happy for someone to. Actually,
you know what I sing the most actually at the moment is "Let It Go" from Frozen.
Oh, I have Frozen.
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old who absolutely loves that song, and it's one song she can sing a lot of in the car. So she sings it, so I sing along with her, which is a nice moment. But I think she prefers her own singing to mine.
Do you know why you should never give Elsa a balloon?
Who's Elsa? Oh yeah, why?
Because she'll always let it go.
Oh my god!
Oh,
and that's the environment.
And that is the end of the podcast forever.
That's hang on. That's my 4-year-old daughter's favorite joke. She doesn't ever seen Frozen, so I don't know if she gets it, but she thinks it's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that is a good joke.
Oh my god! So Damielou, tell us a bit about your video creation process. Obviously, it's different to music. How do you go about creating videos? Do you think about what you want to do, and do you think about structure, or do you just go out there and record it or something?
Yeah, well, I think after the Creator Accelerator program that you ran, I think the videos that I want to create now need to be scripted and need more thought behind it. And so it takes me a little bit longer to make a video now. But back in the day, I was like, I have an idea and I'm going to run with it. And there was good aspects about that. But yeah, I think for what I want to do now, it just needs a little bit more time, which is, I think it's very helpful. And I'm still figuring out my process. And but for music videos, like the one I did recently, that I only did that, filmed it and edited it like on the same day. But I was just like, when you're on a high and you're just like, yes, this is it. This is what I want to say. This is everything. Like, I just like, you can go for like hours without, I forgot to eat like at one point and I was like, I should have a sandwich or something. But you have your good moments and then you have your like, oh man, this is taking forever and I don't know if I'm gonna deal with it. But
can you tell us a bit about that latest video? Like, are you happy to?
Yeah,
I can talk a bit of a like.
Somebody described it as a performance art piece, which I kind of like. But it's supposed to be. It's got a lot of layers to it, which is why towards the end I do so that really high pitched sound noise. If I don't know if you've watched it. I'm sure. Did you watch it actually? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but people listening probably may or may not have. So maybe a bit of an explainer. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's basically a how do I describe it? It has motivational intention. It's a stream of consciousness with looping behind it. So it has a little bit of music, and it's a stream of consciousness, kind of like spoken word, and then a little bit of inflections at the end, like musically and singing wise.
Like, what's your message there? Like, what are you saying? What are you sharing?
Oh, well, you got to watch the video and maybe make your own your own assumptions. Okay. I think I guess it is like me drawing a line in the sand, being like I've been a bit like blind to a lot of my own insecurities, a lot of my own self-hate, and I haven't really shared it online, but I've I pride myself in sharing things for a reason, but like I just forgot my reason. Like I forgot my why, And then when like that, that thing that you guys talked about, like the last in the Creator Accelerator program, and being like, actually ask yourself why you do shit. Because it's so simple. Like, you know, you'd think that everybody would know it, but you can get so lost if you're just shitting on yourself the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think it's just me being vulnerable, being honest, and sharing it, really.
So what's your why then?
What's my why? There's a lot of whys. There's a lot of why I do things. I guess the short version, who the fuck else is going to share my story, you know? I got to do it myself. So that's my why. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually have run out of time. Ant, do you have any extra last? I mean, we're going to ask about top tips, but Ant, do you have any questions you wanted to ask before we have to wrap it up?
Yeah, you have amazing purple hair and have had amazing purple hair for a very, very long time.
Yes.
What is it about purple?
I don't know. It's just something that's really stuck with me like this whole time. Like if you look back at the older videos, I don't have purple hair and it looks fucking weird. I look at it, I'm like, who the fuck that bitch? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think I've had purple hair for like now 7 years. It's just something that I saw and was like, yeah, purple's my favorite color. Why the fuck not? And I've just always stuck with it, unless I had to wear a wig for a certain character or whatever I was doing.
Nice. Well, Damielou, unfortunately, we have run out of time. But as we like to ask all the creators who are on the show, do you have any top tips for aspiring creators, particularly, I guess, for music creators?
Yes, I do. The top tip: don't shit on yourself. Everybody. Okay, yeah, that sounds.
One, it's physically difficult to do, but generally don't do it.
Don't shit on yourself. Don't fucking hate yourself. You are where you need to be right now, and that's all. Like, you know, just be kind of like okay with the way you are now, and just know that if you work hard, it'll fucking be lit. Don't you worry, my friend. That's what I want to say to the world.
That's killer advice.
Yeah, I think I can speak a lot about that because, like, I just shat on myself like the whole time.
Good advice, Damielou. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been eye-opening, interesting. And when one day we'll have to get together and sing some karaoke and get Ant to sing the entire.
Galileo.
Yes.
Falsetto will come through. Okay. Yeah. Hells yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Damielou. And thank you, Ant, for your little interjection at the end there.
Mamma mia, let me go.
Okay. We're going to cut this off right now before we lose subscribers. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.
Okay, thank you.
Generation on the mic.